Students, my name is Patti Napolitano, verifiable on maybe some of the certificates on the wall. I've got good news and bad news, folks. The good news is this is our Journal 2 assignment. So this is step-by-step hosted on YouTube. How are you going to do advanced generalist social work? How do you become an advanced generalist social worker who is a community organizer? This is Journal 2. We're planning our community engagement projects. That's the good news, is we're going over our Journal 2 in our planning phase. The bad news is if you are going to represent yourself in a court of law and you're a pro se litigant, you are representing yourself in a court of law that is de facto not culturally competent because nobody speaks Latin. And those terms are from a dead language. So how is it culturally competent to have people use terms that most people don't understand? And you have to know what pro se is if you're going to be a pro se litigant in a divorce attorney. That's the United States of America, and that's the context that I'm going to describe community organizing in. The United States of America, who has licensed me as an independent social worker to tell you about these things. So here's what we need to understand. Black and white terms are a facet of addiction thinking, which is the way that humans think when they feel their life is being threatened because something they need is being denied to them, right? This is where addictions come from. I could have been a contender if only. That's an addiction, right? So in the United States, as a social worker, if you're saying you could really make a difference in people's lives if only you had the perfect system, have I got some news for you? You're going to hate the Snopes review of Disney's Pocahontas. It has not been that dope here. It's gotten it for a long time. So what do? Mr. Rogers says, in times of crisis, we look around for the helpers. There's always people helping. And I bet you social workers are going to be there. And if I get there, they're like, wait, what kind of social worker are you? And they have ideas about what kind of social worker I am or am not. And that, my friends, is cultural competency. So we're moving through our community engagement with cultural competency. I'm going to share my screen. There's going to be like no HIPAA or FERPA violations. We're looking at sections 5, 10, and 610 of Spring 6, 2026, 626 of 6 social work. We're looking at Journal 2, which is in week 2. We're forming a strategy because I sit down with folks before and after meetings, and then I have coffee with them later, and then I help them at a book sale later, and I ask them, hey, here's my strategy. What do you think? They think things. Usually they go, wow, you're ambitious. I say, thank you. You know, I can't do all this stuff. I'm putting together a chicken barbecue and I can't cook. So I think by July 2028, we could get something. What do you think? Do you know anyone? That's snowball sampling. It is not the most evidence-based, research validated. I love that. That's not who I am. That's not my practice. And I am not going for a colonized social work practice. I want to know who my 99-year-old friend, Jean Davies, thinks would help me with a self-guided history tour, because when she was in her 70s and she was retired, she organized it. And do you know this week who Jean Davies, my 99-year-old friend, told me to ask? Bruce, you don't know who's on the committee with me. She's absolutely correct with who would help me. She already knew. So, strategy formation. I'm double checking my sources with formal and informal sources of power. It's okay to have a plan and have it go wrong, because then I say, wow, I'm so glad I talked to you, Bruce, because Jean told me to talk to you. And when I've been at any of the fishing tournaments or whatever, people always talk about Jean. So I'm really happy to know and to say people brag about you in public. Those are the kinds of relationships I'm forming way out in the open at events that happen at 2 p.m. All right, strategy formation. We're going to enter student preview mode. And I'm going over my strategy, knowing your community and taking action. Copy and paste. Don't like that. It's going to be a pain, huh? I'm completing a PDF open educational resource textbook to accompany Ohio, to accompany MSW CSWE. Don't go away. Never go away. ASWB standards for 600 level macro course. Teaching and evaluating implementation of policy, let's say, of why do you keep disappearing? Assessment. I'm going to think of my competencies. Engagement, intervention, evaluation with groups and communities in the course of the work. Other social work competencies will be modeled and practical evaluation, self-evaluation with existing best practices will be the basis of self-guided assignments. I will outline, let's see, I will provide several deliverables in the course of this semester through my assignments. One category is internship position descriptions that will attract and prepare all 2026 MSW Advanced Generalist and Clinical for opportunities and policy and community engagement initiative. This work will follow several professional social work activities. Wellness, Cleveland, clinical practice in Rocky River. Wellness, Cleveland, clinical practice in Barnesville. I should say Cleveland because my Rocky River location I'm moving to CSU, which is in Asiatown / Midtown, the east side of downtown Cleveland. So we're just going to say we have a practice in Cleveland. And also Wellness Cleveland. We're going to say depot subcommittee. And I have a few initiatives. Ohio Has Heart is one that's like a general theme of young adult. 18 to 25 is generally what we say. Adolescence is really 14 to 25. And how we break those down depends on the activities. But there's Ohio Has Heart activities that I do generally with. There's another called Ready to Serve, which is more specifically the chicken barbecue, 7-county firefighter, volunteer firefighter. It's a whole thing. And I'm going to call it gentrification because that's the word that we use that's supposed to mean something positive that's happening in Ohio City, for example. Gentrification, remediation policy work, and oil and gas community benefit policy work, and transportation. Ohio transportation initiatives. So these are the policies that I review in my Saturday morning group supervision, which is for my private practice interns who I already am training and have their own caseloads they're building up. They will continue on after graduation. I will be hiring in Cleveland and Barnesville therapists to do those things. Because I cannot be a full-time therapist and also do all these things, right? And generally, I have Saturday groups, and I work in nurse practitioners who are going for their mental health board certifications. People I meet along the way, along my interviews, who want to pop in and talk with people, the practice owners from Behavioral Health Services of Greater Cleveland. So there's education and networking opportunities in those. And then also we will be having policy follow-up, and we will be inviting specific interns who are working with senators from the state of Ohio who represent our district, who already have things going on. I want to be providing any JDs who are interns or anyone who is working as an intern with those senators to come in as well. And we have advanced generalist interns, so I'm going to be coaching on policy and the many things I'm doing, including all of this journal work. Is that 300 to 400 words? I don't know. I don't do the count. This is not a fully formed and agreed upon course of action. I've been working on this for 3 years. If you don't have this fully formed plan by week 2, thank God. I hope in 3 years I can come up with a better plan than you can come up with in 2 weeks. That's the point of this, right? You're going to give me outlines and you're going to meet with me before midterm, because you're going to be doing journal 1, journal 2, journal 3, assignment 1, and I'm going to have a picture. And when we meet before midterms, I'm going to say, oh, I see how this is developing. This looks too broad. This looks too narrow. Have you considered this? And I will make the whole rest of it easier. So if you'd like to meet with me before Valentine's Day, I do have how to meet with me links. You can message with me here in Blackboard. Activities you'll engage in. What am I doing? I already kind of know these. What a relief. All right, there are things I can and cannot do. Activities I will engage in. Hire 3 interns, therapy, Cleveland. Hire 3 interns, family, therapy also, but family, rural, social work, Barnesville. I'm posting them because people go online all over the place. And if you're in the Ohio Valley and you have the opportunity for an internship here, oh no, no one knew. We're going to hire 3 interns, advanced generalist. That's my fall. I'm gonna have a very, very busy September. I need those written and clarified, and I need to know where butts and seats are going to go by the end of January so people can look and apply by February so that they can have interviews scheduled by April, so that I can have a decision made by May, so that before people graduate and go on break, they know when they're going to start and they have their start date and I have all their documents and I can apply for their paneling so that they can start in September, because there's a 4-month gap. So understanding the timing of this didn't just fall out of the sky. I've been working on it. I know my strategy. It's okay if you don't. While I'm working for that, I have to apply for 3 identified grants that are also, I have to have the initial draft done in January and have phone calls and interviews with people in April and have them submitted before March. That's okay. We're doing 2 hours of admin every day. That's all you have to do. If I don't see your email, I'm trying. Tools or resources you'll need. Depot subcommittee. Phone tree. They know who I need. This is my favorite. Where do we put you, darling? I've shown you this. I'm never going to stop. It makes me so happy. This is how many things come out of my depot subcommittee. My depot committee subcommittee meetings. That's how many names and phone numbers. Yes, that is a resource that I need. Do you know what else I need? 2 hours a day admin. How will I plan it? How will I do it? I also need a business manager, and my business manager and I have had a lot of life and a lot of holidays. So we got to get back on our meeting schedule. But because of our January and February, we're going to have to meet every morning, I think. So we're going to need a 20-minute morning meeting Monday through Friday times 12 weeks, which means we need to phase it back. You can't plan stuff like this. This is what I learned implementing critical time intervention. Sorry, I'm just like loudly chewing my same popcorn seeds here. This is great internet. Okay. I'm trying to think in terms of critical time intervention. I need timing and phases. And from now through the end of March, I want to be on the same pace. And then I want to practice for the next 4 weeks, 3 times a week. And if we can get it down to 3 times a week, this is all accountability. By the end of these 28 weeks, my business partner and I will be through implementation of our group models. So we've got a strategic plan that's going to include monthly actuals and monthly expenses and monthly projected income. So that's my plan. Okay. That's what I'm going to submit to myself. And it's going to be 5 points. And possibly, I'm just going to reply right away because I'll be in here and it's in my 2 hours a day. Or possibly, definitely, I'm going to go over it with you one-on-one and talk about it and give you a lot of ideas if you get on my calendar, which I think I already have someone tomorrow. So, ciao bene, I guess I will be seeing you all very soon.